Aloha and welcome! Thank you for joining us on Day 3 of HBA's Virtual Alumni Week. I'm Sharon Arapiza with Student Services at the Stan Sagert High School campus. I've been with HBA for 20 years, and I'm excited to not only see our HBA alumni return, but even more ecstatic and thrilled to hear their stories. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's lineup of guests, but if you missed it yesterday, don't worry. You can simply log in to www.hba.net and get caught up. We have a full show lined up for you today. We'll talk story with history teacher Lynne Nakano, follow along our alumni business spotlights with Mark Young, class of 2001, and Scott Kobayashi, class of 2006. And we end with our mindful moment with HBA sweethearts Brian and Keri Lim from the classes of 1992 and 1993. Today, we celebrate the reunion classes of 1971, 1991, and 2016. Don't forget to connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at HBA Alumni or on our website at www.hba.net. And lastly, next time you're by the high school campus, drop by and say hi. I'd love to see you and reminisce over the good old days. Enjoy the show. Until we meet again, aloha, ahui ho malamapono.
Hi everybody, welcome back to day 3 of our virtual alumni week. I'm so excited to have Mrs. Lynne Nakano with us to just talk story about her time here at HBA. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell me your HBA story.
Well, I've just finished my 32nd year of teaching at HBA this year, and I am now teaching the kids of my kids. So that makes me grandma, and I probably drove by this school every day and didn't really know it was here. But God had put 2 women in my life at church from when I was really young, and that was Ruby Ovid and Kathy Lee. So when I graduated, after they had watched me grow up under their nose, they said, you really need to apply to HBA. And so I really have them to thank for being here. And then maybe what kept me here so long would be in my first year of teaching, I had 2 beautiful mentor teachers, Maureen King and Joyce Wong. And when I watched how they lived it out, that helped me. Maureen is that down to earth. When I'd have that hard day, she would get me through and tell me, I asked her, what do you do? And she says, just come back another day. And she really rubbed off on the kids for like service and building their intellect. And then Joyce Wong was my heartmate of really knowing the kids being known and really loved for whoever they were and whatever they had together or not together. And she would just tell them, be good.
I remember that. She would tell me that all the time.
Yeah.
So would you say those were your greatest influences?
Definitely. They helped me know that I was at the right place and that I wanted to stay. And so I've long said that I'm on the Miss King plan. I hope to be here for 50 years.
That's awesome. So what led you to become a teacher and why the area of history?
I think it started from traveling, actually, that I got into history, not necessarily first from books, but in traveling, I would see the art at the Louvre. I had a chance in 8th grade to go to Europe, and I asked my mom, hey mom, can I go? I have a chance. And she said, do you? She took me seriously, so I put my game face on, yes I do. And I had a paper out, so I saved all my money, and my church saved cans for me. And on that trip, I got to see, art and wonder, why is that? Why is it like that? What's the message in that art? And why those cathedrals? What were they thinking? And that's really what got me in, that history is the hub of all the disciplines. Whether you like science or math or whatever, each of those disciplines has a history. And really, you're learning the history of that knowledge.
That's so good. So you're involved in so many aspects in your 32 years here, not just as teacher, but as advisor, and I'm sure as a mentor to other young students. So tell me more about your experience or just your involvement in school other than teaching.
Yeah, I would say that I probably spend as much time at those things as teaching. So I'm glad that they pay me for the teaching, so I can do those other things. But the National Honor Society, I think, one of my colleagues, Faye Takushi, said, "Sorry, you just can't get rid of that club because that's all the perfectionists." And that is my crew. That's who I relate to. So it's an honor to work with all those young women and men who have an eye on excellence, and then be there with them as they learn to lead and kind of coach, what the right priorities are. And then also be there for that fear of failure, kind of walk through and learn a little bit more about the path of grace. Yeah. And that kind of leads to core group for me. I love the chance. It's kind of a time to sit around lunch, have fellowship just around a meal.
And core group is relatively new here at HBA.
Yeah, it's very new. It's my idea of filling in right now. But when I look at the Bible and how we're meant to teach, it's to be the body together. So it's meant to bring students and teachers together, not in just one person leading, not like just a Bible study, but to share a meal and to watch how our lives and the things that we have to work out in our lives are met by the Word. So being able to, put the Word and live it out together.
That's really good. So how has God and HBA influenced your life over the decades?
I think that when I started, I probably had no idea how much I really still needed to learn and grow, and it's given me that place to grow in the Lord. It is an honor to work at a place that is mission-minded. So I have all of these quality co-workers that all want to do ministry and serve the Lord. They're servants, yeah? And so to be able to serve together, it has helped me grow in my own faith and be able to really, I think, fall in love with the gospel and see Jesus at work in me and in others.
And how would you say that HBA has changed over the time that you've been here too?
I think we've been always on a journey of growing, but yet we still don't lose that really personal core. So I probably see more similarity than difference, So all of the women like Maureen and Joyce that have served as humble servants and kind of passed the baton, that's now, we were the young crew, and now we're the crew that needs to keep telling the story and passing it on.
Right.
So I'm happy that we still have that sense of mission. I think we've gotten really a lot better at our craft, though. I think we're growing in our excellence.
That's great. So what are some of the greatest memories that you've had here at HBA? And it can be for you personally, as a teacher, with your colleagues.
I would say that I probably most enjoy watching transformation, like watching the difference. So I love to see maybe students that were a little bit like anti or, maybe not in love with the gospel, and then to watch how life happens. And when Jesus meets them, they come back. They wanna connect about it. So it's been a privilege to be a part of that long journey. Whether it be a Christy Duarte or a Joseph Aoki, and watching their lives change. I'm currently walking with 4 alumni who weren't necessarily really interested. In fact, we like to joke about the fact that at HBA, the answer to every question was always Jesus. And yet now the irony of, wow, he really is a lot of the answer. And they're able to see that in their lives. So I'm honored to have spiritual sisters and daughters now.
Oh, that's so good. So how are you different from the time you started teaching? And I know you kind of talked about this a little bit more, but dig into that a little bit. How different you have your transformation here at HBA.
Yeah, I think that maybe I too am a learner of the school's Esslers. So, we talk about wanting our kids to have humility, and I think I have been humbled appropriately. I've learned submission to Christ, not my way, his way. I've learned curiosity and enjoyed growing and learning. Commitment has certainly been a big part of my journey. And like I mentioned earlier, to me, that's also the gospel. Right. The gospel is not a routine thing like, oh, I've heard that before. It's very powerful to me. That's come alive for me. So, and I feel like I'm finally really learning to love too and be more other-centered. So I'm grateful that I'm a student of the Esslers and can be a teacher of the Esslers.
That's good. What makes HBA so special?
I would say that it is the fact that we are personal and that everybody can be known. One of the verses that's kind of standing out for me right now is 1 Corinthians 13:12. So a lot of times we hear the part of 13 about love. But in 1 Corinthians 13:12, it talks about how we don't fully know. It's like looking in a mirror. We don't fully know, but we are fully known. And what that means to me is that we are known in our full humanity. The good things and the bad things, the sin, our full humanity is known. And I love being at HBA to make sure that kids know. I like to mentor, to make sure, my promise to them is I will not be shocked by your sin. That we are fully human and the Lord knows all of it. And so we need to know each other so that we can guide toward God, toward Jesus.
That's so good. And in knowing that going through the pandemic, can you talk about that a little bit, what that experience was kind of like? And how do you reach students through virtually? Because for many of the students, they weren't here on campus.
Yeah. For me, this time of COVID has been a chance for the Lord to work also. So it's been hard, and it's created a difficult situation for kids, for learning, for social emotional. But on the other hand, I also see that it can be a gift. We have had to slow down in ways that we have to take stock. And so while we're in this time, I invite all of us to stop and take, have a COVID wake-up call, kind of realize that this is a broken world. This is the fallen world. The Bible has told us, that we're not going to be able to make our lives, completely in control and ordered the way that we want them to be. It's a fallen world. It's broken, and we know it because when we try to even be good ourselves, we can't do it. And so it gives us a chance to be pointed back to our need for God. We're created for Him. So I think we're getting a chance to be known and reassess what's important.
Right. So when students come through your classroom and then they leave HBA, what is your hope for them?
I hope for them to have a rooting in who they are, that they know that they belong. They don't have to struggle to, create their own identity and their own worth, that their worth was shown to them in Christ, and that they know that they belong here, and that they then are free to go out and to fail and learn and see what God has given them to give. I do believe and wish that every student knew that they were made to be part of His body, that they're not meant to be self-sufficient, all into themselves, having everything they need all in one package, but that we need each other and we need Him, and the part that they have to give can't be given by anybody else.
And then especially what is your final message that you would say to alum, and especially for alumni that haven't been back to HBA? What would you like to say to them?
Don't live a normal life. I think that's part of the wake-up call. Don't live a normal life. Don't keep just chasing the job, the money, the house, those things. But see that there's a much bigger part of life, and that is us knowing our humanity, getting to see that there's a reason we're not able to quite fill that, and recognize that seed that HBA planted, that the answer always really was Jesus, and wanna grow, wanna seek what's true. It's a good open dialogue. Struggle with it. Ask questions. Want to grow. It doesn't have to be pat answers, and there's a lot of room there to ask and question and learn, and see that life is a lot of what we cannot see.
Great. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us. You have been such a great influence to me and a role model in Christ, and now having the opportunity to have you as a teacher and now work alongside you in this ministry of HBA has been such a blessing. So thank you, and thank you for being a part of our Alumni Week.
Thank you. My greatest honor is to see students come back and be rooted in the Lord. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Megan, and I'm here with alumni Mark Young. He's a graduate with the class of 2001 from HBA. We're here in a beautiful home in St. Louis Heights. Why don't you follow along with me as we bear with this noise of construction, but we're going to power through, and he's going to take us around. Come on. Hey,
Hi,
Mark.
how are you?
Hi, I'm Megan.
Hi, Mark.
Hi,
nice to meet you.
you.
Come on in.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is a beautiful home.
Yeah, so the bones of this house is from 1948. Recently redone completely, inside and out.
No, it's beautiful. And Mark, you're a graduate of what class of HBA?
2001.
2001.
2001, so a proud alum. was there from kindergarten through senior year.
Awesome.
Proud graduate.
Take us around this beautiful home and
Sure.
show us what's up.
So sure, this home has many positive things that differentiate it from other homes, especially in the area. So right now we're in St. Louis Heights. Real estate's always been a passion, and I always think of things as a youngster at HBA. I thought of what am I passionate about? I started off being passionate about sports. That was a huge passion. Then it started transition to finance. And then with finance, I loved real estate. So real estate has been great. I wake up every day feeling blessed to have real estate and being able to wake up and help people find homes and sell homes. So master bedroom. You have a walk-in closet, double vanity sink, shower, tiled up, newer vinyl flooring, so durable if you have pets, kids, have parties and want to entertain, and you don't have to worry about any damage to the floors.
So this would be good for parents and they want their kids to be downstairs or?
Correct.
Okay.
If you have older kids and you want some space, you could put them downstairs. Again, multi-generational. This house has 6 bedrooms, but they also have bedrooms on this floor that we'll take a look after this that has the privacy and the separation. Again, I can't stress it enough, location, but the views here during the day are beautiful, but at night it's even more gorgeous.
So Mark, you mentioned that you played sports at HBA?
I did, not very well, but I played.
What did you play?
I participated in a number of things growing up: soccer, baseball, basketball, and later in life, golf as I got lazier.
Wow! So were you Mr. HBA with all of those sports going on for you?
No, like I said, I wasn't very good, but I'd like to participate. So
that's awesome.
You know, just the most important thing was I wasn't the best. I wasn't LeBron James. I wasn't Tiger Woods. But I enjoyed creating all those relationships with not only my teammates, but also the other teams, competitors as well. Because growing up, we're all the same age, and this is Hawaii. We all know the same people. And this is the second master suite I was mentioning. So this could be your favorite child or a guest room for family, friends who want to visit, because it has a separate walk-in closet, separate bathroom in here as well. So this could be your second master suite.
Awesome. So Mark, do you keep in touch with your HBA classmates and your sports teams?
Not only my classmates, but also many classes above and below us. HBA, again, is such a small school that we're able to interact with not only our class, but with many classes above and below us. So till this day, keep in touch with many are clients as well, but it's lifelong friends at this point. They become family. We go to weddings, children parties, retirement parties for their parents. And so just like Hawaii's culture, we're all integrated, and that's what's so cool about HBA.
Have you sold a home yet to a friend or a classmate or?
Fortunately, many of them. I've been fortunate enough to help all of them. You know, classmates, friends, many alumni, even people that are on the Alumni Association. I've been able to help their families as well. So HBA has been a significant part of my life and will continue to be.
Awesome. Well, this is a gorgeous home, and thank you for taking the time to show us around today.
Yeah, it's truly my pleasure. So thank you for joining me.
And your company again is called?
It's called True Real Estate. We're a smaller firm. Our importance, what we like to focus on is the customer, and so we pride ourselves on that.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Mark. I'm gonna give you I just washed my hands, so COVID handshake.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
So Mark Young, graduating class 2001 from HBA. Went to HBA for 13 years, kindergarten through senior year. My sister as well. So I kid with many people. I not only went to school for 13 years at HBA, but sometimes I say 14 because my sister was there, older sister was there a year ahead of me. After graduation, first and foremost, kept in touch with many people. I think the unique thing with HBA is the small class sizes allows you to not only interact with with everybody in the class, but actually personally get to know all of them. So post-graduation, went to University of Hawaii Business School, graduated in finance, but also, most importantly, kept many of the relationships strong and developed them as the years progressed. After graduation at University of Hawaii, initially just jumped into real estate. So real estate was a passion from the get-go. Got a great internship, learned a lot right as soon as I graduated with some of the bigger financial firms in real estate here. And then jumped into the brokerage world. So I've been there ever since. It's been great. So obviously I love the homes. My background is in finance. So coupling those two things, great homes, beautiful views, seeing different types of homes and how it suits different people, and then incorporating the financial side. But the thing I love the most is helping people. Seeing how happy they are when they actually find the right fit, and then seeing where they're gonna spend many years creating a family, spending holidays together, and creating memories. I think that's the most fulfilling thing. Thankfully, much of our clientele is HBA. So we lean heavily on the relationships of HBA. I've been able to help many alumni. I've helped their parents, grandparents, find places, investment properties. So I'd say I'm a 2001 graduate. I've been able to help people, classes 5 years above me and 5 years behind me as well. And so HBA has given so much to me. I think when I think about HBA, I still smile to this day because I think about the MAC. I think no other school has that type of setup where so many people not only enjoy seeing the kids flourish and learn about themselves, but they do it willingly. And so one word comes to mind, selflessness, when that MAC, I think about those years. So HBA has significantly impacted the way I do business. HBA is structured in a way where it's small in itself. So True Real Estate is a smaller, kind of boutique-ish firm. But HBA, that family-oriented atmosphere, is what I try to carry through with True Real Estate. HBA has taught us so much through work ethics, pushing through academically, pushing through in sports, even in losses. You can take away positive things. And so even when we encounter challenges day to day, I think back of pushing through a tough subject or tough challenges at HBA and overcoming it. So I would be the biggest advocate for HBA because there's nothing I regret at HBA, and I credit and attribute so much to them. My family and I do. And so I would say HBA is going to give you that intimate environment and also expose children to so many different things. And you're going to see your child pick up on different things. They may not have interest in some, but they're going to flourish in others and find themselves as they grow. So HBA is an important thing, and I think I'd be the biggest advocate for sending someone there.
My name is Scott, and I'm a 2006 HBA graduate. I am a full-time pastor at Moalnogars Missionary Church. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Mikela Kobayashi, and we just have our 6-month-old son. 6 months.
He always says 6-month-old.
Oh, 6 months. And we have our 6-month-old son named Liam. We have a side business called Yumi Social Media Agency where we help local businesses with their digital marketing and media.
Every single morning we like to start off with family time. That's really important to us, that we start our day off with each other and with our son, and we make time for that. And that might just look like us having breakfast together or just chatting and playing with him, which is really important to us. And then we always try to make time for our devotionals, our personal time with God. And so we make sure that we give that space to each other. So we'll kind of take turns. I'll watch our son and he has his God time, and then we'll switch because we want to make sure that we're getting fueled in our spirits as well. And then after that, it's our time to start our work day.
So our church believes in ministry in the church and outside the church. So they actually encourage us to do ministry out there. And so which goes back to the purpose why we have the business. It's so that we could rub shoulders with people who maybe don't know Jesus. And so that's the whole purpose of us having a business. And because of that, our pastoral staff, they know that and they encourage us to be more in the business world, be more in the marketplace world, so that you could bless people, you can minister to people. So we don't just like manage social media, but we do like ministry out there too. And so like I love to tell people that like, the main reason why I have a business is so that I can hang out with people that know Jesus and just bless people, provide godly solutions, provide real marketplace solutions for them, so we can help them out and just bridge connections there. We really focus in on restaurants and travel. And so those social media is so key for their business to thrive. So when we started off, we had a restaurant that we partnered with, and we just started there taking pictures, doing short videos, and really boosting their social media presence to boost their sales.
But what I think is really exciting is that when we, for example, work at a restaurant, right? And it starts off as business and we're there to take photos and run their social media and things like that. But then it becomes an opportunity to hear out, for us to be able to say like, hey, how are you doing? And just asking that simple question opens up so many doors. They start to share with us their heart, oh, I just went through a breakup, or oh, I'm struggling to pay rent. And that's where an opportunity opens up for us to be able to say like, oh, well, can I pray for you for that? Or how can I help? Or how can I support you? And it just opens up a door for us to share God's love yes, directly through prayer, but also indirectly, and to be able to just meet their needs and to be able to be generous and kind.
Yeah, we don't just like focus on the marketing part, but I think like when we did that first restaurant, we were behind the scenes, we were helping out like just with things that aren't even marketing related, but just the fact that we wanna, we're here to help provide solutions for them. And it goes beyond just doing our tasks, but really helping and getting to know the owner and how he runs his business. And so that's really kind of, marketing is so broad in that sense, where we go out there and we just help provide, be the extension of the owner to the customers. And,
we have this, quote that we like to say is, Jesus talks about being careful of wolves in sheep's clothing. And we like to joke around that, well, we're sheep in wolves' clothing, that we like to go into, the secular world or the marketplace, but really, and we look like anyone else, but really on the inside, we're there to share like the love of God, to every place that we go. So really our business is our vehicle to share the love of God to people out there in the marketplace.
I came here in 2000 from Walani Judd Nazarene School right down the street, and came here in middle school. And back then they had the middle school right down the street. They didn't even have the middle school campus built yet. And so I came here as just a little kid, didn't know anybody, and I really fell in love with HBA. And stayed here until 2006 when I graduated. And then from there, went to college at UH, met my wife at MGMC doing youth ministry together. And I think from there, we really saw that God put us together for a reason, and to use our marriage to bless people. And so we've come here back at HBA to talk about relationships. We did like a couple seminars. I think we talked once to the seniors too about how to make like healthy choices moving forward when you go to college and whatnot. So I think that's kind of like the long story short of like how I've been here at HBA and from then till now.
Well, I'm very thankful because something that Scott has always emphasized in our marriage and in our family is that, we put God first. And I think a big part of that is because of his background from HBA. And I think also it's exciting because your dad also graduated from HBA. Yeah, my dad graduated too. And when your dad was here, his family wasn't necessarily Christian, like you mentioned. And so it was this seed that HBA had even planted in his father, who then, they chose to send Scott to HBA as well. So we see this generational blessing that's been passed down from this school. And I think also it's exciting to see this community that I've met so many other HBA alum that aren't necessarily even his same class, but they have such a sense of community and family with each other.
You know, there's so much that can be gained at a life at HBA. So much rich fruit and seeds there. And if you partner with what God is doing there, you will totally grow in yourself, in your career, in your education. And I really believe like there's a lot that you could learn and grow in if you believe in what God is doing at HBA.
Aloha. I'm Brian Lim, class of 92, HBA. And this is...
And I'm Keri, 93.
And we are really privileged to be here with you today as both HBA alum and also as we're a couple who have a practice here in Kailua, psychology counseling practice, the Christian psychology counseling practice. We call ourselves Paradigm Hawaii Counseling. And we are basically now here since 2005. We have a team of about 15 people, counting Keri and myself, and we just have the privilege of being of service to the community in a number of different ways, but mainly through individual and family and couples counseling. And we also have a history with HBA. I began HBA back in, let's see, it was 88 for my high school career, and my brother also started with me at that time. He was in 7th grade. So it was already a family affair to begin with. And then in 91, I met Keri at her sophomore class camp. I was a junior, and Mr. Goslin, who was our director of Christian activities at the time, kind of last minute asked me to come out to Camp Pu'ukahea in Waianae to be a counselor. Well, not a counselor, but like a you know, upperclassman. Yeah, I guess the word was counselor. Huh? And so I caught the bus from Kailua out to Pu'ukahea, and I had this like sense of destiny, you know. And basically, long story short, that's where I met Keri, and we've been together now for about 30 years, over 30 years, and 24 years almost married. We have 4 children, and 3 of them have HBA connections. So it's just been a huge privilege to be a part of the HBA family. And today we'd like to share with you a little about mindfulness, because we understand this to be a mindfulness moment. So I'll do my best to share about that. But do you have anything you want to say, Keri?
No, you done well.
Okay.
I will be asking him the questions.
Okay. Okay, so I'll wait for your questions.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about the practice? So why did you choose to go into this business?
Okay, well, I really believe that I'm here because the Lord provided in a number of different ways. I mean, I was originally going to try to do pre-medicine when I was in college, and then through some circumstances, I actually got to see a bunch of surgeries when I was with our family in Taiwan. We were in a missionary hospital there, and it just was like, I can't see myself really going into. And so my sophomore year, I majored in psychology. I declared a major in psychology at Wheaton College, and kind of have never looked back. So, but I do feel like the Lord has equipped me to, with a passion to see people grow and heal. And that's just something that I feel like we can now do as a team. And of course, there's no way I could do it without you, because you are phenomenal.
Okay, what about being a psychologist and helping people do you enjoy most, or what do you enjoy about what you do?
Well, I really enjoy the people. I enjoy the relationships that I get to be a part of. It's basically meeting with people. Ever since, this is our brick and mortar office, of course, but ever since March of 2020, as you know, we've pivoted, and we're online doing remote telehealth services. So it's a lot of talking with people over the computer. It's something to get used to. There's a little bit of fatigue involved, but overall, yeah, with like Zoom calls. But overall, it's definitely I still feel very privileged to be in those conversations with people. Yeah.
So talking about the pandemic, since we're coming through it, we're still in it. A lot of people, as you know, this year have been struggling on a number of levels. So how can someone improve on their everyday self-care and mental health?
Well, for me, self-care and mental health largely are about living in line with reality. So in other words, living in line with how things work just psychologically and also spiritually. And for me, a large part of what we do is relationships with ourselves, which would be self-care in a lot of ways, relationships with others, relationships with our Lord. And so understanding how those relationships work is key. And for counseling purposes, a lot of times what that means is talking about how emotions work. Trying to understand how our feelings work will be particularly useful for how we apply strategies to our relationships. And especially for us as believers, I think it's important to understand how faith works, what it means to live by faith, what it means to depend on and rely on God, and what it means to be self-controlled.
Okay. So we can wrap it back towards, actually you're writing a book. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure, I'd be happy to. This is a book that's a long time coming, kind of about as long as this practice has been in existence. Kind of started writing it every time I had a free moment, canceled appointment. And you've been incredibly supportive through the process. The book is going to be hopefully uploaded to Amazon, self-published in a couple of weeks. It's called Maybe the Whole Ocean, Exploring New Metaphors for Navigating Feelings and Relationships. And it's kind of an ambitious attempt to try and, address all these different concerns with emotions and relationships and faith, with some different anecdotal stories and metaphors and just some, an attempt to be creative, because the ocean represents kind of our emotions and our relationships. And it kind of represents little things getting big. So I'm really interested in how something small can grow, just like a mustard seed that Jesus would talk about in the Bible.
Well, we look forward to reading it.
Thank you.
Okay, so to bring it back to HBA, since we're on Alumni Week, since we just shared our story, how we met, and how our kids are there, what ways is HBA special to you or us?
HBA is very special to me because it was kind of like I was ready for HBA when I first started. I was coming from a slightly larger private school, and so as a junior higher at that school, because I basically did all 4 high school years at HBA, and I was kind of lonely in my junior high years, and I didn't feel particularly encouraged in my faith. I was kind of a young guy who'd been captured by the love of Jesus, and at the same time didn't really feel like I could sort of, feel like that was a big part of my education where I was. And so I came to HBA looking for a place to be myself, and I really feel like I was able to experience that. I feel like HBA afforded me, shortly into it, some terrific friendships, lifelong friendships, especially with you, especially with you, and also just a place where I could really flourish in my faith. So I feel indebted and very grateful to HBA for that.
And I would say the same, but I would add that now, since we're parents, the school is really special to me for how they're reaching out to our kids.
Indeed.
Like with Jessie, our oldest, when she left HBA, graduated and went out, like Mrs. Nakano, for example, did go and visit her at school, and like is still reaching out to her, and that mentorship continues even after graduation. So I have been appreciative of the school's care for our kids.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How has HBA prepared you for your career today?
You know, I would say that maybe we can just say that, you know, our motto for our practice is grace to heal, change, and rest. And I feel like the HBA ohana, especially the faculty and the staff, from the moment I got there, were really models of grace. And by grace in our practice, not only do we mean what the scriptures tell us about grace, but also for us, as people know with me, I like acronyms. So GRACE stands for genuineness, responsiveness, empathy, acceptance. Gotta learn how to spell. Genuineness, responsiveness, acceptance, compassion, and empowerment. Empowerment, not empathy. Yeah, okay. Empathy too. Empathy is very important. But anyway, I feel like I learned those character qualities, especially from my teachers. Like you said, some of the same teachers that we had while we were there, which is an incredible privilege. And our kids now have the same teachers, and so they continue to be and still are those exemplars. Yes.
Okay. All right, and then how do you feel HBA impacted you to be who you are now?
Well, I feel like it really was a place for me to just kind of come into my own and be myself. And I was able to flourish there because I found, I think, academic excellence as well as a place to kind of put my roots down with my faith and grow in leadership, hopefully character. And now, as a father of our children who are there, that's especially just great to see them also coming into their own, hopefully not feeling like they're in our shadow or anything. I think they've really actually forged their own way, and they've kind of made their own mark. Yeah, so it's great to see. Very exciting. Yeah.
And then I think maybe we'll end with this one. So again, talking about the pandemic, and this is kind of a time where everybody is struggling, and you might not feel like God is really necessarily there or watching over you. In what ways do you feel like God has been faithful? Maybe that can bring an encouragement to other people who might be struggling with that.
Yeah, you know, of course that God has been faithful through the things I've just mentioned about how HBA was key in our formation, you know, in developing who we are, both as individuals and as a couple, really. I mean, to bring us together, I feel like that's huge testimony to God's faithfulness. Now, if we fast forward to the pandemic, I think that God has really provided for us. I know that it's been a time of a lot of hardship for a lot of people. I think that we're starting to see, light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully. I like to just especially emphasize what I like to call God's heavy lifting. You know, in Matthew 11, Jesus talks about some pretty interesting things. He talks about how he has all authority. He talks about how he only the Father knows him, and then only he knows the Father. And at that point, it sort of feels like, everything is a bit closed off. Like that's a pretty exclusive club, so to speak. Just the Father and Jesus. And then he says, anyone I choose to reveal the Father to. And it's like he's opening it up. And then he says, come to me all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And to me, this is amazing, because now we've got this exclusive relationship between the Father and the Son, and now it's opened up to anyone who is weary, anyone who's burdened, which to me basically translates into overwhelmed. Anybody who's overwhelmed, we can come to him and find rest. And he goes on to say, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and I'm humble in heart. You'd expect him to say I'm awesome, or I'm the man, I'm the bomb, or whatever, but he says, no, I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And that to me is kind of a way of saying he wants to do the heavy lifting. He wants to do the heavy lifting and trade us for our weariness and our burdensomeness, and take on and give us his easy yoke and his light burden. And so that exchange can be just very integral to our experiencing the light lifting in life. So I would hope and pray for our HBA ohana that we would be able to experience that light lifting as a part of his faithfulness as he does the heavy lifting. As we look for him where he's helping us, we can join him in that and just let him be the one to shoulder that burden. So yeah, that's what I think I would like to leave everybody.
Great. Thank you.
Wow, we've made it to the halfway point of our virtual Alumni Week. It's been so neat meeting alumni, faculty, and staff from different generations and seeing how they are striving for excellence in all that they do to live out our school's motto, Christ for every nation. We have much to celebrate and be proud of. It was great talking with Mrs. Nakano, who's been an integral part of our school community, while following along our alumni business spotlights, Scott Kobayashi and his wife Mikela, and Mark Young, and ending with our HBA sweethearts, Brian and Keri for our mindfulness moment. If you're a small business owner or offer a professional service, we encourage you to fill out our Alumni Business Directory form to be added to our online directory so that folks in our HBA community can support one another. Find out more information at hba.net/alumni under the Get Involved section. For today's lucky draw, you have until 10 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time to email us at alumni@hba.net your answer to this question. What year was HBA established and what is our school motto? When you email us your answer, don't forget to provide your contact info and graduation year. All correct responses will be entered into a lucky draw to receive our HBA original designed Aloha shirt that will be made available soon on our website. But for now, the lucky winner will be the first to own one. We'll post the winner on our Instagram and Facebook accounts at HBA Alumni. We'll also follow up with you via email. If you're unable to watch any of the shows live, you can always watch it after the broadcast to catch up. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Bye for now.